Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Lex Gray. This will be a simple one-shot. I'll be using a modified version of the Fate accelerated system using D&D attributes in place of the approaches. I will also be borrowing the Iron Sword dice mechanic, where I roll 2d10s as challenge dice and the action dice is the d6, but slight difference. Anything equal to or higher than is considered a success. So that has kind of powered by apocalypse method where you have exceeding both is a great success. If you only exceed one dice, it's a partial. Anything less than is considered a failure. No actions, just straight up improvisation. So let's introduce the character and what will be happening on the board. I'll be taking notes on this whiteboard. Everything is going to be, I'm going to try to fit everything on this board here. That's the challenge for myself here. We got the dice here, we got the pencil and eraser. So our character, it'll be a solo character, and I'm going to try to have this be a comedy, so bear with me. It'll be a parody of typical fantasy tropes. Our character name is Lego Lost the Third. He's a pale elf from the Land of Oz. Um, his stats are, let's see, strength +1, dexterity +3, constitution +1, intelligence +2, wisdom +2, and a charisma, nothing. Aspects are high concept is self-proclaimed ranger of rangers. Trouble suffers from main character syndrome. Not necessarily bad, but it could be at times. Perfect vision and hearing, and then likes to monologue. Those last two are his other aspects that you can choose to add. Stunts include a basic bow and arrow, so it's just an item, +2 when shooting ranged, and then his other stunt is dagger heart, +2 when stabbing through the heart. I want to mention that there's a pause between dagger and heart. I'll let it be. So it's pretty obvious when I'm making a little pun there. Now, that's the character. He's obviously a parody, a poke at Legolas from the very successful Lord of the Rings series. Now, my budget here on this show is just short of the entire Lord of the Rings franchise, but obviously we can't win them all. So let's begin with a title for this. Can't use a pencil on this. Let's use a title, make up a title here. So let's say the the amazing Legolas. There we go. And then let's start with a location, a starting location. Let's see, locale. Let's say, as usual, it'll be in a tavern, and our character Legolas is Legolas the Third. My apologies. Is drinking some alcoholic beverages. He's drinking. Let's say he's not a drinker. He drinks juice. So he's got his little apple juice handy, and he's just sitting there minding his own business, drinking some apple juice. Everyone else is this tavern is very busy, and there's just rowdy people are shouting. They're probably watching a game on the tube, so they're probably shouting, "Go orcs, go orcs!" And while he's just sitting there alone, because he's obviously not very popular, he's fairly pathetic. Everyone hates him. He's miserable. But again, he's self-proclaimed Ranger of Rangers, so to him, he is the mightiest of all characters in this general area. And while he's sitting at the bar, drinking away his sorrows with apple juice, someone enters the tavern, and it will be the following character. So we have a new character, NPC. Let's say this is going to be a General Masters. This guy is looks like a typical drill sergeant. He is very tall. He's wearing his general uniform. He is from the military. And he walks up through the bar, approaching Legolas, and taps him on the shoulder. Legolas puts the juice down. That's conveniently ironically in a mug, making it look like it's alcohol. He turns around, and Legolas he is just, excuse my French, he is shit-faced. And he looks like this. Yeah, what do you want? And the general, he has his he's got his whip and he's got a folder. He takes off his hat, puts it to his side, and he leans forward and says, "You, you must be Legolas." Or actually, not take it back. He says, "You must be Legolas." And Legolas, he spits into a canteen conveniently to the left and says, "No, I'm Legolas. And who you might be, my finely dressed individual friend." And the general, he sits beside our main character. Now, I'm trying to think of an aspect would come in handy here. Self-proclaimed Rangers suffers from main character syndrome. So probably nothing just yet. I think it's a fairly casual conversation. The general sits down at the bar stool, and he starts to do this. As he sits down, he starts to sink, and he's like, so he's stuck here. So he's a little shorter behind the table. He's human. He's not an elf or he's not a halfling or anything. Or sorry, Lord of the Ring fans, he's not a hobbit. Um, so he's looking up at the at the at our character. He says, I'm looking for a ranger by the name of Legolas. He is far more attractive than you are, and possibly more skilled with a bow and arrow. And I'm assuming you probably may know him because you appear to be an elf in some manner, with the pointy ears and such, and the flamboyant getup." And then hold on a second. And so Legolas, offended by that by those remarks, because I guess Legolas is not as attractive as let's put that in the notes here. So Legolas, and put that, it's very, very important thing here to mention, not as attractive as, I don't remember how to spell Legolas. Okay, anyways, I'll put little quotations just I I don't know. Okay, he's not as attractive or as handsome as Mr. Suave from Lord of the Rings. So we will basically be. Oh, I need my chips. I always forget about those damn fate points. I have a feeling we're going to compel a. We're going to allow a compel for our character. So I'll put 4 fate chips here. Uh, Basically compelling the suffers from main character syndrome, so he will get offended here. Again, he is drunk off his ass with apple juice, and he is just going to blow a gasket here. So I think that Legolas is going to step off his high horse, which is a stool, and get up to the general master's face and say, what would you say? So we just compelled, we accepted the compel, and he says, "What makes you think I'm not as handsome as that posh Legolas from that franchise that they just showed on the TV?" And let's say maybe on another TV the credits are rolling, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. 1 second, guys. Okay, I was just checking the definition of posh. I just want to make sure that I was using it somewhat, somewhat closely to what it actually my actual intends. Anyways, the general, I don't really have a care. I mean, if he's a drill master, he's going to be pretty serious. But I think he's in very desperate need of help here. So I don't believe he's going to retaliate in some aggressive manner. I believe he's going to be he's going to. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so again, Legolas is just kind of kneeling down at his face and says, I look. Do you know, or do you not? Hold on a second." So he moves over to another. He moves over to a chair that's actually at equal height, and then Legolas just kind of walks around that busted stool and says, "Look, if you don't know who I'm looking for Legolas, but if he's not here and he's looking around, he's just again he has his folder. He says, maybe you can help me. Just we are desperate. We are in desperate need of help." And so Legolas, he says, he's a little surprised. He was expecting some kind of retaliation. He was expecting some kind of bounce back from his again very deadly disease known as main character syndrome. It didn't exactly pose a problem here. So I'm not really letting it be a problem. I mean, we certainly could ask the Oracle, but I want to get this. I want to get the wheels going here. My hypothetical. And so the general, after saying that, or I'm sorry, Legolas says, what exactly do you need help with? And the general says, look, he puts the folder on the table, and I'm going to write these notes down here. So again, explains this is the mission. Basically, the king's favorite golden toilet, try to cut around here, has been stolen by thieves. And he shows the folder, and the folder just pictures pop out. It's just the pictures of the golden toilet. It's in this very fancy looking bathroom, and you just see the mark where the toilet would be, and everything else is like it says Lincoln's bathroom, and it's all like fancy and all. It's recently been renovated. So anyways, he's going through the details. He says, we believe thieves broke into the king's castle and disguised themselves as servants. They proceeded up to the top floor via the freight elevator in the back room, and then took on the disguise of banquet servers. As they made their way to the main king's room, the king's dining hall, they proceeded into the master bathroom, where they stole the golden toilet. And then he's explained all of this to Legolas, and Legolas is just kind of trying to act like he knows what's going on. He's following along. Remember, he's drunk. He is shit-faced drunk, completely 100% legitimately drunk. Apple juice, it's a killer. And so I was explaining this, he's like, now, I think I'm going to do a completely unnecessary roll here. And while the general, here from a car insurance company is explaining what has happened, we're going to roll to see if Legolas is keeping up with the story. So basically, again, we're using my method of these two d10s, like from Iron Sword and the challenge dice. The d6 is the action die, and we're gonna roll that in a pool. Here's our fate points. FYI, I got 4 chips. And this is a straight skill roll. There's nothing really I can use here. I mean, I have remember, perfect vision and hearing, but it doesn't say perfect memory. Likes to monologue. We're not quite there yet. I think that will happen in more tense situations. Self-proclaimed ranger. That might come up here soon. But there's an environmental factor, an aspect we're kind of rolling against, and it's that he's drunk. So this will be intelligence, because he's kind of trying to keep track of everything that's being said to him. And I will just roll the 2 dice here. There's no difficulty. It's just the 2 dice itself. 2 plus the intelligence of 4, so that's 4 total. And look at that. As expected, he fails. It does not exceed either the 5 or 7, so it's a failure. So Legolas does not recall. He doesn't track. Does not remember anything he's saying. He's just And the general continues to save some time, and he's like, "Look." They took the toilet. They then proceeded on. They roped the toilet down to the bottom outside to the garden, and our security cameras caught all of this. And Legolas like, it's the only thing he catches. He's security. Oh, sorry, British accent. Security cameras. And the general's like, yes, we have a sophisticated security system that's tied to the entire room, the entire general castle itself. We have about 10,000 cameras installed, and one in very vital area, in every vital area in the entire castle. And Legolas says, "Oh right, yeah, I have one myself." And he continues to say that we believe he shows pictures of the thieves. They're like hooded individuals. There's 4 of them, so let's make a note of that. There are 4 thieves, and the general shows a close-up of one of the thieves, and he's like, "We have this is the closest picture we can find." Now, strangely enough, one of the thieves are all kind of floating above the floor, and the general's like, "We're not too sure why, but these thieves are floating. It appears they're some kind of flying creatures, and they have like little hoods on, but you can see little wings flapping around, and so." Uh, this will be a perception roll. So we're going to do another roll here. Legolas is looking at this picture that shows, again, it is a flying creature, not very big, very small, and has little wings flapping around. We're going to guess what they are in fantasy terms, but we're going to do a roll here to see if he can spot this with the picture. Perception roll, which is +2. I'm trying to see if we can use an aspect here. Self-proclaimed rangers, perfect vision and hearing. We're going to do that. We're going to spend a point to add a +2. So it'd be +4 total to this roll. Ooh, that's a 10. So that's going to be 7 total. So 7 beats the 4 there, but we get a partial success. So the partial, I believe I'm going to use my trusty. I completely forgot about my discovery meeting table from the one-page mythic. I'm going to look for it and be right back. Found it. Okay, so the one-page mythic is absolutely fantastic, but I mainly just use the table itself, the D100 table, discovery and actions, or action description. So let's go back to the board and see what we can really interpret it from this partial success, because again, we only got above 1 of the challenge dice. So we just do 2D100s, 28. That's going to be danger, 48. Lacking. Okay, so lacking danger. Lacking danger. Partial success. Well, the lacking danger might be related to the 4 thieves that are flying creatures. So I'm going to make a note that they are indeed flying creatures. He knows that. It's pretty obvious. Flying creatures. So the general does ask him, what do you know, or what do you recognize about these creatures? And that's what kind of leads to partial success. He basically says, okay, lacking is what he does not know who they are, exactly what race they are, what species, but he knows they are dangerous. So he says that. He's like, well, they appear very dangerous if they're able to lift a very fancy, perfect, shiny gold toilet out of the window, but I don't exactly know what race that might be. And the general explains, okay, well, that's a start. Now, the general says, we need to keep this on down low. The king knows, but does not want the general public to panic. He says, this is the utmost highest priority and top secret. Do you accept this mission? And he said, and of course, main character syndrome or the Legolas explains, well, what's in it for me? And the general leans in. So Legolas leans in. He says, you'll have a lifetime supply of White Castle. Legolas, eyes go up. All right, count me in. I don't know why my character, like my voice of Legolas, sounds like a dwarf, but whatever. Maybe he's half dwarf. Anyways, so lifetime supply of I gotta write that down because I'm gonna forget that. Let's write that actually in the notes, or let's just put it here. Put a little star here. So the award will be lifetime supply of White Castle. There we go. Who wouldn't want a lifetime supply of White Castle? Anyways, I mean, there was movies based on it. So, so Harold and Kumar, they're going to depart the tavern, and the general shakes hands with Legolas, and he explains that you have complete access to the king's castle take this badge. So he'll give him a badge. That'll be a stunt. So this badge is like a lanyard, which is something that totally existed back in the Middle Ages, Middle days, other references of past times. So this will be King's backstage, which gives him complete access to the makeup room, etc. So access to castle, basically, just to, whenever he has an issue trying to gain access to a VIP area of the backstage, they'll be able to get in there and get some autographs, some Spinal Tap. So, all right, he shakes the general's hand, and general puts back his fedora and walks away. Oh, and keeps the folder's top secret, so that stays in the general's hands. So General Masters departs, and we're now outside the tavern. So let's jump to a new location. So let's see here. Location. Where should we start next? Where do we go from here? We're going to do a little time jump. Let's figure that out with the two descriptions. 87. That would be, whoops, rustic. 46. That'll be incomplete. Okay, so basically, part of the castle, an old part of the castle, has been demolished, and they're replacing it with a drive-through. So you have the main king's castle, and part of it that's like the eastern side of the castle is being torn down and replaced with a drive-through, most likely a White Castle, which makes sense because the White Castle is what the General Masters promised as a word. So let's write that very important detail down that it's in no way related to actual real life. So we are outside the king's castle, and that's going to really be it. So we are noticing there is some special event going on. There's like you got those moving lights, those big beams that shine into the sky. I forgot what those are called, but basically, as you see those beams, you can see it hitting the clouds. He looks up as before he enters, and you can see like there's a weird bat symbol that shows up temporarily, and he's looking around. He's beginning to investigate. So now we're gonna do our first skill roll before he gets up to the front door, the front gate. Remember, he's welcome with that pass, but he wants to keep we need to keep this on the down low. We can't exactly go around and be like, hey, I'm here to figure out what happened to the king's toilet. What's your name? And they'll be like, the king's toilet. And they're gonna start panicking, and the whole entire town catches fire. So we're gonna do another perception check to see if if Legolas can spot anything of great importance before we get inside the castle where he can investigate. So apparently we're going from a fantasy RPG, fantasy setting to a Peter Sellers Pink Panther, which I'm totally fine with, by the way. All right, so we're gonna roll dice here. And this is perception, so this will be underneath wisdom. And we have perfect vision and hearing. I'm going to spend another fate point for that. This is probably going to be a good point to use that. And +2, that'll be +4 total. 1, that'll be 5. Another 10. We do beat the 1, though, so that's a partial success. So let's figure out what that partial success is. 61, increase. 80, reassuring. So increase reassuring, but it's a partial. Okay, so the end goal of what he would have noticed is reassuring and increasing that reassuring. What is increasing and reassuring? Reassuring is that he's at the castle. Maybe it has to do, increasing. So maybe actually going up somewhere, so climbing. So let's say he gets inside, but remember, partial success is a problem. So he recalls there's a freight elevator. He doesn't have to take the stairs. The castle's like 100 stories high, so he doesn't have to take the spiral stairs. There's a freight elevator, but the partial success maybe is that either he gets stopped at the front gate, or the freight elevator's down. So maybe he does have to take the stairwell. Okay, well, that's a tough one. No, reassuring increase, because that's a problem with the partial success. Trying to figure out what happened. Maybe something happens to him when he's looking around. He's at the front gate. He left the tavern, now he's at the castle, and he's trying to find a way in without gaining too much attraction. So let's say he goes to the back, and he spots reassuring could be he spots the loading dock of the castle, and there's a large truck that says Commodores on it, and um, increasing means it's very busy. So he's trying to get in. So he's walking up to the dock. Security stops him, and this is where we get access. So that's our stunt. This automatically means we can get through. So he shows the badge to the security guard, and then he gets allows and the security guard. Oh, of course, feel free to go right through. And our Legolas thanks him, and then in the corner of his eye, well, no, actually, something is flying nearby. There are several things in the sky that are flying. I'm going to throw this in here. So let's write that down here. So he's at the loading dock right now of a castle. Loading dock castles do have loading docks. If you've never been to Portugal or Spain, there's a lot of castles that actually have loading docks. It's fact. I mean, everyone knows this. I mean, how the hell do you not know that? Loading dock, and then there are some flying creatures. And as stupid as this has been so far, I hope you guys are enjoying it. I think it's absolutely hilarious. But we're gonna do another perception roll, which makes sense for a ranger. It's the most wisdom would be the most, I think, or dexterity, depending on which D&D would be the most actively used skill. So another perception roll. Now he's just trying to get through the docks. I don't think we can use the aspect perfect vision. I don't want to spend any more chips. You know what? Actually, yes. So here's something we can do. He's passing by some of the crew from the Commodores, or some band, probably a cover band of the Commodores, and he's a big fan of the Commodores. He loves their music. I mean, who wouldn't? And who doesn't? So he's looking at the gear, and he sees the guitars look like bows. It's obvious. So he starts talking to the crew. We're going to compel him he likes the monologue. So I'm going to give him an extra fate point, and he's going to start talking to the crew. He's like, oh, is that a guitar? That's a nice guitar. Does it go to 11? He starts talking to them, and he's blabbering on. And this unfortunately misses the opportunity where 4 individual flying creatures are in the sky. You can see them flying like this, and they land on top of the king's castle. So he missed it because, again, he likes the monologue. He just kind of got sidetracked, and he knows these very nice fancy guitars that look like bows, which I somehow it works out. And we're going to write down that the creatures we did not see, or actually just missed, let's see, 4 creatures landed on the castle top. Okay, so that's a problem. Gee, I wonder who these 4 are. It's like quite obvious. So he's wrapping up his conversation. The 2 of the crew members died from boredom. They are literally skeletons now, and the other 2 wanted to catch a smoke break because they didn't know you were actually talking to him. So he goes through the dock doors. There's like an employee cafeteria. There's a staging room. There's a makeup room. There's a hallway. There are guards everywhere. It's just traffic. There's crew preparing for the next big show. I mean, this is the King's Castle, and they have a huge ballroom they recently completed in recent months that took only like a few days to build because easy labor in that general area in this fantasy town. So they got a big show going on, and there's a setting up for it. And so Legolas is looking around. He's really confused where to go. And so he goes up to one of the crew members, or let's say he goes up to a janitor, the most likely individual to go to seek guidance or direction when you're in the back hallway of like a big concert, and which actually might be true. And he asks the janitor, "Where is Now, he doesn't know the freight elevator is down yet. Remember, the freight elevator is down. That's part of the reason why from the partial success we rolled earlier, the consequence. So he goes up to the janitor, and he's going to roll. We will have to roll. The janitor's very busy. He's cleaning up a shit stain, which is the story of this one shot. He's cleaning up the story's plot on the ground that spilled earlier, and we all have to roll charisma for this one because he's trying to get this guy's attention. And this, we cannot use charisma. There's no charisma. There's no bonus here, and I really don't think anything can help out here. Suffers from main characters and not really. Self-proclaimed ranger. I mean, we could probably use that to be like, oh, or some kind of big shot, but I think he's just gonna do a flat roll. So no bonus whatsoever. 7 and 6. Okay, so 6 ties. Another partial success. That is very odd. Okay, so we don't beat the 7, so we gotta figure out what the partial success is. 15 for the communicate. 100 warm. Okay, so the janitor is very friendly, but the problem is there is a language barrier. The janitor speaks Goblin. He's a goblin. He's Goblish or whatever. He's been Goblish, and he starts pointing down the hall and starts talking about his whatever he's saying in Goblish. And Goblin, he's talking about going down the hall. He heard the word freight elevator, so maybe he did catch. He is explaining where it is, but it's not registering with Legolas. So I mean, he does seem point down the hall. The partial success is the language barrier and just to go that direction, but not exactly accurately where, like make a right, it's upstairs, or it's like to your left, or it's 100 feet to your right. He just goes down the hall. So Legolas is like, all right, thank you. He does this, thinking whatever, and he walks down the hall, and he's in the hall. He's looking around and doesn't see an elevator. There's like double doors into the back, opens the back doors, and there's a kitchen. It's this big banquet they're preparing for. There's a bunch of chefs running around, and one of the executive chefs shouts at Legolas and says, "Hey, what are you doing? Man, can't be back here. What are you doing back here?" And he shows the badge, and the executive chef says, "Oh." He walks up to Legolas and says, my apologies, sir. I did not realize you were a main character. He says, "How can I help you?" And so Legolas is like, "Oh, okay." So that kind of unintentionally worked. That stunt worked. He said, "I'm looking for the freight elevator. I'm here. This is where we need excuse." So he cannot give the details of the missing toilet, or this whole place was shut down. So the king loves his golden toilet. He just loves gold. Uh, Gold is just like it's just he loves it. I mean, he like. Anyways, uh, so he's trying to think of what to say, and he wants to talk about how his self-proclaimed ranger. He wants to talk about himself. Remember, we got a few problems here. He likes the monologue, suffers from main character syndrome, so he wants to give away the details. This is where trouble comes in. So we're going to resist the trouble. So we're going to roll against it, and we're just rolling against it, which will be, I think, maybe intelligent. I don't know, just a flat roll. So we're doing a flat roll. We're rolling against it. If he fails, he will give away, spill the beans on what he's doing here. If we roll successfully or partially, he will give some answer as to who he is. So here we go. We just have to beat the 2 dice. No bonus whatsoever. 2. Oh my gosh, a lot of 10s today. My gosh. So he beats the 1. Okay, so he's blabbering on about what he's doing here, and he's trying to think of an excuse. Maybe he says that he's delivering flowers for the banquet tonight. And the chef's like, doesn't exactly understand what he's talking about. Like, what flowers? It's a game. Or it's like some big event, but there's no flower. He's not aware of any flowers. So the partial success is just, the chef's a little confused. He's like, that's not exactly my department. But he believes him that he's here to deliver something. So he tells him the freight elevator is just to the right. So like when he just turns his head, there's a big giant freight elevator that says freight elevator to his right. And he goes, "Oh." And the chef's like, "Okay, I have to step away. My apologies, sir." And he closes the doors in front of him. And so we go to the freight elevator, but partial plus partial plus partial, the freight elevator is down. There's a caution tape, and it's like a just blood splatter all over the front. So it's closed. It's down. It's in repair. And so you can see the janitor kind of walk around the corner and start in the corner cleaning the bullshit plot. And he starts giggling to himself, seeing our character Legolas standing there in disbelief that the freight elevator is down. And so, guys, a stairway. So there's a fire exit. There's a stairwell right to the left. So we have to go to the stairs. And basically, I just realized, what the hell is Legolas doing? He wants to go investigate the golden toilet, the bathroom. That's the whole purpose of it, or what he's doing. He wants to go investigate what's going on here. So let's put that in here. I didn't take notes for quite a while. So basically, the elevator is down. We need to use the stairs. He needs to go upstairs to investigate the bathroom to gather clues and see what's going on up there. See what happened. That's why he was hired for this mission. He was paid in Bitcoin. And now he goes he goes to the stairwell, and we have to do a strength check to see if he can survive, or constitution check to see if he can survive going all the way the flight of 100 stairs, 100 floor stairwell. So let's go to the constitution is +1. Nothing can really help us out of our stunts or aspects. So I mean, we could use main character syndrome. Let's do that. He's the main character, so of course, we want him to succeed. So that's a +2. And then constitution is +1, so we have a +3 on this roll. 6. Oh, well, yeah, easily we beat both. Okay, so he gets to the top floor, no problem. He gets to the top floor, gets upstairs, and it's a large foyer, depending on which episode of The Kardashians you watched. And he sees there's a big the foyer has maybe 2 large archways. There is windows looking out to the beautiful town of the unknown, which the unnamed, and he's looking for the main bathroom, the master bathroom. So there are 2 very finely, very well dressed guards, King's Guard, posted at the front entrance of the master bedroom. And so the throne room, whatever you want to call it. He walks up to the guards and they see his badge. The guards acknowledge him. They do this. And he asks the guards, "Excuse me, I'm looking for the master bedroom. I have to tinkle." And this will be a charisma roll, because these guards, as they acknowledge the backstage pass, they're not going to exactly let in this random person into one of the most secretive, highly guarded areas in the entire castle, especially on the top penthouse suite. So this will require a roll, and I think it will require... I won't let the kings backstage grant him complete access yet, this part. What I will let it do is give him +2. So we're modding it to where usually it's just instant success, but I will actually modify it for difficulty for a +2, which is still good, but that's really it. So he doesn't want to give away the fact that he's a ranger of rangers. He just says he has to tinkle. And so we're going to do a roll here, and we're using the stunt modified King's Backstage for a +2, and we can't use charisma. There's no bonus of charisma, ironically, for a ranger. So 4, 6, and a 5 + 2 is a 7, which means we got lucky. So that is a success. And I hope I didn't mess up, but if you roll doubles in Ironsworn on either a loss or a success, you get an exaggerated, a heightened version of that result. So I don't think I've rolled doubles yet. I might have. If I did, I missed it. I don't think I did. No. If I apologize, but I don't recall if I did. Let me spend 5 minutes thinking about if I did or not. No. So he succeeds. The guards tell him it's right behind him. And again, there's a large sign that says master bathroom, and like LED lights, arrows pointing, turns around and goes, "Oh." And so he walks into the master bathroom. This isn't a porno. And so he's walking around, he sees there's a line of urinals and a couple of stalls, and then there's like a large, like massive golden door with like a small tiny handle for a very, very small hand, but a massive like 10 by 10 golden door. He walks up to it, he puts his ear against it, and there is some noise. But does he notice the noise? He does a perfect hearing, so we will roll for this. So we're rolling +2, using aspect. That's another one gone. So we're down to 1 chip. fate point, and this will be investigation, so or perception. You know, he's actually investigating, but this is also perception. I don't know which one to use. It doesn't matter. They're both +2, so we're doing a +2 plus another 2, so that's +4. Here we go. Oh, oh, oh! They're not matching. They're 6 and 9. Giggity, 69. And I just made a porn joke earlier. That's perfect. So 6 plus the 4 is that's 10. So he is successful. He would have tied with my modified rules, but he is successful. Okay. He can hear like chatter, some whispering behind the doorway. And he hears them like trying to like break something off the wall, like a crushing sound, like a jackhammer. It's just loud ass jackhammer. And so he opens the door quickly to bust in with his bow drawn, finally making it relevant that he's a fucking ranger. So bow drawn, and he sees 4 fairies flying, trying to pull this golden sink out of the wall, and he stopped. And they're flying there like this. So he's like, fairies, I knew it, you clever little bastards, flying into the window. And they're like, flee, flee, and they try to fly away. And so what he's going to do is fire his arrow at the first one he sees. So this will be obviously a dexterity check. We're firing an arrow +3 with a bow and arrow +2 bonus. That's +5 against. All right, so we have 4 fairies. Let's see. Bathroom. The all right, so we're putting the 4 fairies that they run into. I'm sure I'm spelling that wrong, but 4 fairies. And they both, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we'll just give them, they're pretty harmless, or they're pretty small. So 1 stress box per. So we're rolling, we take the first shot because they're trying to flee, so they're not attacking back. We're going to roll dexterity +3, and then a +2 for the stunt, which is going to be +5 total. Here we go, against the first fairy. It's +5, so that's 10, which we succeed. So we take out the first fairy, like so, and then the second fairy, they drop the toilet down, or I'm sorry, they stop trying to pull the sink, the golden sink, out of the wall, and one of the fairies tries to do a magic spell of clichéness and blast our character, Legolas. And so this will be a roll where we need to dodge. So the attack is coming, and this will be a block in the actions, but we're basically going to be using our dexterity to dodge it, +3. So here we go. We're dodging that magical blast of harmfulness. Oh no. +3 dexterity 6, we miss. So, and there's doubles. That's what I mentioned earlier. Doubles is a heightened failure, basically. It is we gotta figure out what happens to our character. So they have like this fireball they fire out of their little magic wand, surprisingly. So Wingardium Leviosa our ass, and we're gonna roll what exactly happens. I'm just curious. So 12 change. Whoops, move the board around. 12 and 88. Rustic. Okay. Oh, you know what? The spell modifies our bow to become like turns to dust. It just turns our bow into dust, and we no longer have our bow. The very bow our father passed down through our family's passed down through generations, and now I have to race the stunt. So the bow is gone. They destroy our bow with that magic spell because again, it's a fatal consequence. We rolled underneath the matches, which is never good. And so after that, with quick thinking, what I can do is pay a fate point to re-roll that. But I want to save it because I'm really curious what we can do here. So we're going to compel or accept the very convenient suffers from main character syndrome, which will give us a fate point, and magically he drops to his okay, not magically, I'm jumping ahead here. He drops to his knees and he holds and he watches as the bow crumbles through his fingertips. He looks at the fairies, and they're trying to pull off the golden sink again, and he starts to cry. Then he shouts and raves as if like a dramatic plea for, like someone died in his arms. He basically screams at the ceiling, a loud shouting no, which I won't do on camera because that'll be clickbait. And this is going to be some kind of boost in anger. So there's like a temporary condition. There's a temporary aspect where he is. This will be a stress point. I think he's stressed, so we will mark one stress box as he's lost his family bow. And now the fairies are going to either try and escape because the scream has attracted a couple of guards. There's 3 more left. There's a guard wonder what that scream was and enters the bathroom. And so the guards see that the 3 fairies are still trying in the bathroom. They see one guard sees Legolas on the ground, and the guard's like, "What's going on in here? Who are those 3? The fairies, they're back!" And so Legolas sees that the guard has a little slingshot on his belt. So he grabs the slingshot, and that will become a new stunt. So guards, slingshot. Let's see, make some room here for that. Slingshot. It'll just be a plus. Let's do a +1 because it's a much smaller. So 1 shooting. There we go. +1 when shooting. Not a +2 because I think that being, I didn't call it a family bow when originally. It was something I thought of just now, but because it's just a tiny little slingshot, it doesn't do much. So he grabs a slingshot and tries to fire it. And the guard's like, "Hey!" And he tries to fire it at the remaining fairies. So we're going to go for the number 2. Let's say that one of the fairies in all of that confusion has escaped, and only 2 more remain. So we'll roll for this. This will be dexterity, which is 3, plus the stunt, which will be +1. So we have +4 on the roll. 4 and whoops, 2. That's a 5. Oh, well, that succeeds anyway. So we are able to take out the other. Now, if I got doubles above that, I would have been able to take out both fairies. So 1 fairy remains, and he's definitely a punk bitch at this point. He drops down and he surrenders. And so the guard runs up and handcuffs him, because this is fantasy. So handcuffs did most definitely exist in this era. And they're wooden handcuffs. And so what's his name? Legolas walks up to the fairy, grabs him by the collar, and lifts him up. And he's really, really tiny. And so he says, "Who sent you? Where's the toilet?" Starts asking the questions like, "Where's the golden toilet? Who sent you?" So this will be a roll. We need to check charisma. Yeah, we can't really use that. We can do self-proclaimed ranger of rangers. This will give our character a bonus and +2 on trying to convince. Basically, he's like, "You do not know who I am. You don't want to mess with me," kind of thing. So give him attitude. So +2 on this roll. We're just basically trying to get some answers out of this fairy. So 9, 5 +2 only got above the 5 itself. So that's 6 total with that. Okay, so let's figure out what the fairy says. He won't give away everything, but something at least. 69, giggity. Mundane. 98. Valuable, something mundane but valuable. So it's a partial success. So basically, the fairies are part of a bandit crew that sells valuable items. Duh. And so with that in mind, he says that my crew we're going to sell the golden toilet on the black market. But he doesn't say where, doesn't say who. He says, "That's all I'm going to say, you bastard." And he spits in Legolas' face. Legolas' face, sorry. And so the guard says, "This is terrible. If the king's toilet gets sold, he'll have a fit. We don't want that." And so Legolas tells the guard, "Give me 5 minutes with this little bastard." Oh, sorry, British accent. We 4 minutes with those bastards. Don't get the answers out of him. So the guard handcuffs him to like a pipe or something and closes the door. So Legolas, it has kind of a environmental advantage here. So if you want to consider an aspect, I can allow for a boost. It's a +2 on just being, the fairy is handcuffed to the pipe, and he's just him now. And so Legolas also has the aspect of rage, I guess, for the whole bow situation. His family bow's been destroyed. Let's say that let's consider these boosts here. So we have the alone and the family bow as two possible boosts that we can use that he can call in for this interrogation. So Legolas will use these two, which would be +4 total, to interrogate this fairy to get an answer as to where the gold toilet is currently being sold. Like where is it being held? So we're gonna roll for that. That's gonna be a plus. We have no charisma, so we can't use that. But this will be a +4 of these two temporary boosts. Here we go. +4 is gonna be 9 total over the 6 and 7. And that is a 9, so that is a success. So he does get information out of this little bastard. And we're going to roll for what this information is going to be. 19, we'll do two descriptors. 19, so here we go. Location of the missing toilet. The guard's gone. Location, the missing toilet. We're going to jump straight to the location once we get it. So, dark. And the second one will be 25. Empty. Oh, warehouse. Where else would it be? A dark, empty warehouse. Of course, it's going to be most likely in a crate somewhere. So the fairy tells him that it's at the docks, warehouse 5A or something like that, and it's in a golden box. How fitting. So let's say warehouse 5A at the docks. There we go. Good. Okay. So the scene is over, which means we relieve ourselves with the stress after a good visit to the toilet. So we relieve ourselves, and the stomach feels much better after that apple juice. And we're now on our way to the docks. So once we get there, it's nighttime. There are street lights, and you can hear a foghorn, leghorn, and he gets to the docks. He's looking for warehouse 5A. The badge doesn't exactly come in handy anymore, so we're out where we left. Again, big time jump, big scene jump. We left the castle. We get in our car, and we make our way to Flintstone style. We get to our destination. You have reached your destination, and we get to warehouse 5A. The lights are off. The door is like there's a chain lock on it, and it's surrounded by a bunch of crates and cargo containers. It's a dock. I mean, what else could I explain? So he's at a distance. He turns his lights off. It's just 2 lanterns on the front, and he blows them out. And he gets out. He's going to use his perfect vision to see if there's a way into this warehouse besides the front door. So this will be a +2 for the aspect we will spend. That's our last aspect, our last fate point to spend. And here we go. This will be perception, wisdom. So +4 total. 6, 5, and 9. So +4 is a 9. So we do get a success. Standard success. Okay. So he spots a opened window at the top of the warehouse. All right. So it would have sucked. Oh, I just thought I should have wrote trouble in as afraid of heights. Damn, that would have been funny. Okay. No, too late. Way too late. So, I still remember I have the stunt called Dagger Heart. Keep that one in mind. And so he just needs to grab a rope called Convenient Toe from his pocket, and he'll go to the side of the warehouse. And let's actually see if there are any bad guys around this area. So let's roll. I'm going to say 50-50. Nope, there's not. Okay. So he is going to use his rope of convenient tow and throw it up to. He ties a loop and tries to throw it up and to catch like a pipe or something sticking out of the warehouse. So this will be a dexterity roll, burglary basically, +3, and the rope itself, which is not exactly. It could be a scene aspect, so I'll give him a +2, so +5. That's going to be, oh, easily succeed. We even without the bonus. All right, he throws a rope up, the loop catches onto a pipe, pulls it tight, and he climbs up the rope. He gets up top to the roof, and let's put that down on the notes here that we are on top of the roof here. Rooftop. And he looks through the window, the little window I mentioned earlier, and you can see there's a deal going on. There's like, there are two orcs with with a few fairies flying around them. So two orcs discussing a deal with some other individuals. So let's put that down here. I'm trying to think what other individuals will be here. So we have two orcs. Let's say two orcs plus maybe four fairies flying around. They're all dressed like the mob, and there's a deal going on with perhaps, let's say, what other? Oh, kobolds. Let's just do. There's two kobolds, like a competing crime family, that are looking to trade for the golden toilet. So they want that golden toilet, and there's a trade going on. So he's obviously our guy's outnumbered, and he only has his sling. He should have gotten something on the way out. Man, that's my mistake. I probably should have gone to the armory and with the general masters. And you know what? I don't have any fate points. I can't get to spend to hack the story there. Shoot, right through the armory. Well, I mean that's the reason why Legolas is not exactly. And I can't spend a fate point to activate suffers from main character syndrome, or can I? So, again, it's a two-way street. Main character syndrome can be bad and good. So here's what I'm going to do. This will be a real bitch move. But basically, I'm going to compel Trouble, main character syndrome, and say, oh, hey, he just happens to have some dynamite in his pocket. And so, yeah, so he has dynamite. And I'm going to write down +2 when blowing some bitches up when throwing, basically. So, yeah, that's the compel, and I'm sure a lot of you are screaming at the computer as we speak. But yeah, he had some dynamite. So here's what we're going to do. Now, the toilet, he can certainly throw the dynamite if he wants, the stick of dynamite, but is the toilet like right next to them the trade? Most likely it is. Or the orcs are just keeping it to the side, they're keeping it hidden. Maybe they're not so trusting of these two kobolds, the competing crime family. So let's roll to see a simple 50-50 question. Is the toilet nearby? It is. Okay, so uh, a couple of orcs or a couple of fairies push wheel in the toilet, and they open the crate up to show it. It's covered in like hay and some packaging material. And the kobolds nod and have a briefcase full of gold coins, of golden bars, with the king's face on it. So there's like $1 million worth of golden bars with the king's face on it. And they are going about to trade. Well, a slight problem here. We can either throw the dynamite to cause a ruckus and not try to destroy the golden toilet. That could work. So let's throw the dynamite where this will be a temporary stun. Obviously, I have to erase after we use it. But he's going to light the dynamite with his lighter that he always had, just conveniently in his pocket, because he is a heavy chain smoker. And then we're going to roll with dexterity, and he's not trying to blow up the toilet. He's just trying to throw it nearby to cause a distraction, and maybe he'll jump down all dramatically and go John Wick on their ass. So let's roll for dexterity +3, and then dynamite +2. Here we go. 5 is our number, and oh, another +5. Oh, we actually tie yeah, so that is a success. So we had 5 total on that. So I have to I have to erase the dynamite from our blowing bitches up. And we are back to what we had before. Okay, so the dynamite explodes, and let's figure out what happens exactly. So it does succeed in distraction, but I want to see what happens with this with the dynamite exactly. 67, move. Okay, 17, dangerous. Okay, obviously. Okay, everyone scatters. All right, they all scatter, and I think if there was doubles, he probably would have taken some people out, but it wasn't. So the toilet is not harmed. They all scatter. They all pull out their machine guns. They're looking around like, what the hell was that? And he's going to use his rope again to get down to the toilet, tie it, and then pull it back up. I think that's completely plausible. I think so. So let's write down the notes that we used a hand grenade. Or I'm sorry, not a hand grenade. Dynamite. Dynamite to blow it up. Yep, it worked. And what he wants to do is take the rope he has. I think it's the only real way to get this toilet out of here. Fling it, throw it, and somehow magically the loop gets around the toilet and it'll lift it up. That'll be a strength check. So we have a couple of checks here in order. This is absolutely fuck shit crazy, but I think it can actually work. So the first check will be for the throwing the lasso. That'll be our first check. Whoops, I disappeared for a second. I'm sure that was completely intentional. And, let's do a dexterity roll to see if we can do that. Let's see, perfect vision, hearing cannot work. I haven't really used the likes to monologue much. That's a shame. Suffers from main character syndrome. It just happens to work. You know what? Let's do that. So it just happens to work. Main character syndrome. He's the main character, so it just happens to work. That's a +2 bonus. And dexterity +5 total. Let's see what happens. 7, 4, +5. That's a 10. Success. Okay, so the rope lasso ties onto the toilet. And now he's pulled out. This is going to take some brute strength, which he probably can do. So he's a ranger after all. Rangers are known for their strength. That's a fact. Look it up in D&D Wikipedia. So let's do a +1 on strength, and let's see. We have no more fate points. Yeah, that's all we can do. +1. He's gonna try to pull it up. Well, here we go. Whatever the dice says. 7 total. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have an idea for this. He ties one of them, but it's a partial success. He starts to get the toilet lifted up. It's like halfway up to the roof, the window. But one fairy flies up and starts to attack him. That's the partial success. That's the consequence. Okay, well, he has his hands. He's going to have to tie the rope to something so that the toilet doesn't fall down and break and game over. So the fairy is attacking him. This is one of the fairies that fled from earlier. So let's put that down here. So fairy. Let's do 1 stress box, and he's going to have to quickly tie the rope to something. So we have to do a dexterity check. So dexterity, quickly tie. So that's a +3, but I won't let him use any stunts here. +3 is a 7. That's like 6, 7, 8. He passes 1. Okay. He ties the rope, but the fairy's able to get a hit on our character. So that is the consequence for that. All right, so now we're going to attack back with our dagger heart, and it's going to stab the heart of the fairy like it's some kind of vampire of the wooden stake. So this will be dexterity, or actually no, strength. We're going to do strength for this one, and +2 bonus on the dagger heart. So +3 total. Going for the heart for 5, 6, 7. It succeeds both. There we go. So he stabs the fairy in the heart. The fairy collapses and just disappears and dies. So that will be that done there. And now he's going to do another strength checks to pull up the toilet back at the top. So that'll be our second strength check. +1. Here we go. Okay, so that's going to be... Oh, he got very lucky. So 4 total, we were able to succeed. He pulls the toilet back up, but the orcs and the kobolds start firing their machine guns, which exist in the past times. Machine guns were invented in 1402, I think. Yeah, so they start firing back at our guy, and we have to do a dexterity check to dodge the bullets. So here we go. This will be dexterity +3. We don't have any fate points to activate main character syndrome, where he magically dodges them like Steven Skull would. So here we go, +3 on the roll. 3. Okay, so he does dodge them, but wait, no, I'm sorry. Oh, that's a 9. I thought it was a 6. Yeah. So one of the bullets actually gets through the golden toilet. So let's make a note of that. So a note here is the golden toilet. Golden toilet is damaged. 1 shot. So he sees that, he freaks out, but again, he still has a toilet with him. Okay. Now he has a toilet. He's able to get out. They are down there, and they can't exactly get to the top really quick. So what the hell to do here? He didn't exactly have a backup plan for this part, or a plan for his escape. So he has to improvise. We're going to roll for intelligence so he can figure something out. This will actually help me too as a player, for player skill related matter. Okay, so let's do a intelligence check +2. And the main character, so I can't really use anything from this point. Any aspects. So 2 +2 from the intelligence is going to be 4. He succeeds 1, partial success. So let's figure out what he thinks of partially for a benefit set 47 lacking. Okay. A benefit that's lacking. I think that General Masters was tailing him, was following him. I'm thinking that a missed detail, something he probably could have said, that is my fault, that I probably should have considered. So he told the guards, who all work underneath General Masters, that he's heading to Warehouse 5A. And in doing so, the generals met up with, on the way out of the castle, he met up with our character Legolas, and he says, I don't have a lot of people to spare because of the Commodore's cover band is playing right now. So they're guarding the entrance and guarding the entire castle. But I will go myself. I will be right behind you. And so the guard, with his magical flying helicopter. So the helicopter is in the distance, and basically Legolas takes a little laser pointer and aims it at the distance, and the helicopter takes off, and the plot device known as the helicopter itself is flying. But again, it's partial success, which means lacking benefit. So it's a tough one. The helicopter gets there, but does not have room for Legolas. It only has room for the toilet. So we're going to do a strength check to get that toilet up onto the helicopter. And I'll do a +2 for an assist by one of General Master's, by the pilot or something. He just has an extra guy. So this will be a strength check +2 for the bonus, for an assist from a NPC ally. So +3 total. There we go. That's going to be plus, so we have 2, which equals 5. And success. All right, we exceed both. Well, we match exceed. Okay, so he pushes the toilet up. General Master says, thank you for your service. And then he starts to leave. And Legolas says, hey, what about me? General Masters, well, before departing, throws in a bag of coins. A bag of a bag. I was gonna say IOUs, but I don't know. This could be Dumb and Dumber, but what the hell? It's a bag of IOUs, and he looks at he opens. He's oh wow! At first he thinks it's gold coins or something, cash. He opens the pouch up, and it's all a bunch of IOUs. And you can hear General Master scream, "Sorry, we're kind of in a deficit right now. We'll be sure to pay you later." And he takes off and leaves. And Legolas is like, this is the last fucking time I do a job for the government. And then you can hear, so he's stranded. The toilet has been delivered. His award is not exactly what he got in mind. I think the award originally was what? It's up here somewhere. Let's go to my cheat sheet here, the board. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. No. I caught myself there. I forgot. Lifetime supply of White Castle. So let's consider the options here. They're still building it. Okay, No, this is fine. I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna undo what I just said. It's he gets the bag, or he tosses something like an envelope. He catches the envelope, opens up. It is a lifetime pass to White Castle, and he smiles like this, and that's where the one shot will end. So there you go. I know, completely unresolved with regarding all the guys that are still down there looking around, who like, what the hell's going on, shooting up there. But I don't know. Can we continue this? Can he escape? So basically, there is an Iron Sword move where it's like battle something where you resolve battle, but it's more like a quick blur. You roll the dice. Let's see if you can escape the warehouse, and the bad guys are down below firing at him or looking around the warehouse, seeing where he is. Obviously, trying to find a way up top. This will be a combination of, I think, dexterity, so he can get the hell out of there. +3. Let's just see what happens. So 9. Actually, I think in this kind of role in Ironstorm, you can't use a bonus. I don't think you can. No, I'm not going to let him use an attribute for this. This is actually just a straight flat roll, kind of a narrative roll. So he only succeeds 1, so it's a partial success. Let's figure out what happened when he's trying to flee or get out of there. 46. Failure, 36. Fool. Failure, fool. So the failure would have been trying to get down, but maybe he was able to jump over to the other building and get down somehow. A full failure, but it's a partial, which means it wasn't exactly a full failure. See, that's a tough one. He has a rope, so he was able to get down. Maybe he didn't encounter some bad guys. So let's add 2. Oh, you know what? Okay. Let's say it gives him a mild consequence. Let's just say that. So yeah, he does take a mild consequence. Let's say a busted leg. Okay, that's a mild consequence to take for 2 stress. But he gets to his car and drives away. But it's the Flintstone car. Oh, what the hell? He gets away. So partial. He did get a busted leg, but that partial failure. Oh, maybe he ripped. Oh, maybe he did. He accidentally ripped one of the ferries, or they shot, and he was holding the receipt. He was holding the ticket, the golden ticket to Charlie's Chocolate Factory, to Willy Wonka's, and it ripped in half. He accidentally ripped it, got caught on a piece of wood or something when he was going down the rope. The ticket ripped. Mm. And they didn't. And remember, the golden toilet's still damaged. So we'll see what the king thinks about that. But I believe he does get away. But unfortunately, the ticket's ripped. He'll have to go back to the castle. But he has a busted leg. So I think that's really it for that one shot, people. I didn't exactly fill the whole board, but I did get some good time on this. An hour and 13 minutes. Probably my longest video for a while now. So um, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was very stupid, silly. I'm not really sure what I was doing, but I had some fun, and I hope you guys did too. Again, it was more of a parody. Legolas. Some meta jokes, obviously, to current conditions of our of current times. But anyways, I did enjoy it, and I hope you guys did too. Let me know if you want more of these like limited whiteboard. This whiteboard and everything has to stay within it to operate the entire one shot. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I do apologize if this was a complete mess.